division at Wheatland Raceway. In that year, he won every single race. Can he pull one out of the hat here tonight as the green flag flies? He has Cole Campbell on his outside, and we are underway at Wheatland. Action on the backstretch, midway through the pack. Greg Scheffler will get turned. He stays parked on the track. Point advantage after getting off to a rough start to start the season. He's up by 23 points. And right now, Bolin is up by a car length over Chris Jackson as we're back to green flag racing action. One lap in, and it's three wide in a battle for third. Eric Turner, ET, will phone home and grab up the third place spot as he gets around Campbell. And now Sheets will look to the inside as he and Turner were side by side off four.
Cole Campbell behind them rounds out the top five, and a ton of talent up in those first five spots. But the man laying back in the weeds right now is the standout from Springfield, the driver of the 18, J.C. Morton, around to the top of the racetrack now. He flirts with the cushion as he tries to follow the veteran Terry Schultz around the top of this racetrack and fight his way into the top five. Side-by-side battle for second place is Turner and the five-time track champion, Chris Jackson, duke it out over in turn number 3. Jackson holding on to that spot, and they'll be side-by-side again as Allen pulls inside of the 65 and cuts off the nose of John Sheets in the 8S.
Big loser in all of that was Cole Campbell, who was running second. He is now dropped back to 8th. He is going in reverse instead of in fourth gear moving forward. It's all bowling out in front. Now Eric Turner will look to the inside of Chris Jackson. Most competition KJ's had so far here tonight as he was able to go from 5th up to 2nd as the top 4 cars are all lined out. Another big mover in this is the 54 that is moving through the field.
Tyler Kidwell, man, he is good every time he comes here. God's honest truth, Shane, is Kidwell's good everywhere. It really doesn't matter.
I was looking down to see where he started. He started back in 9th, and he's up to 5th. Corey, 9 wins on the season for TK.
Yep, 21 top 5s in 28 events. All he does is get to the front. Doesn't matter where he starts. It's all about where the driver of the 54 finishes, and he does that extremely well. Maybe nobody finishes better here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks, though, than Chris Jackson, and he has erased whatever lead the X2 of Brian Bolin has, just a car length behind your race leader.
Yeah, but it's not just Chris Jackson that's caught up with Brian Bolin. Eric Turner has done the same thing. Both the 65 and the 99 have found a way to get up with the lead car. Now the car is running second and third, and Turner and Jackson are going to start doing their own battle. While they do that, that's going to let Bolin get just a little bit of a gap, but not much, as through turns 1 and 2, they are nose to tail, the top 3.
Jackson to the outside now of that X2. Jackson, who normally catfishes around this track, thinks he's found something as he's gone fishing around the top of the racetrack, right through the middle of 1 and 2 with he and Turner on either side of Brian Bolin. A good run down the backstretch now for the driver of the 65, and they will race their way off of turn number 4. Jackson with a good run, but not enough to get around Bolin.
We've seen the cross flags already, 10 laps down, make it 11. Corey, last time we were here, the stock cars put on one of the most fantastic finishes we had seen as 4 cars were at the line battling for the win. Can the B-Mods back it up this week with the top 3 cars? Chris Jackson is going to get out in front of Brian Bolin as the 414 of Ryan Thomas will go to the infield, get back out on the track, and just barely stay to the inside as the lead lap cars will pass him by. So the top 3 running cars able to get around Ryan Thomas. Chris Jackson has motored out to about a 4-car length advantage. That would equate into a half a second lead over Brian Bolin.
Chris Jackson not just carrying the colors of his sponsors like Rubel Race Engines and his new business J2 that he is in with Tony Jackson Jr., his cousin, but also carrying the green color of Share Your Spare this weekend again, trying to raise awareness for a young lady, a friend of theirs that is in need of a kidney transplant. Shane, that story has caught so much traction. Now I saw it on KY3, and now as we talk about him, Bad Luck Jackson jumps the cushion in, it opens the door for Bolin.
Boy, you said that story caught a lot of traction. Chris Jackson lost every bit of it. He jumps the cushion in 3 and 4. He had built up well over a second advantage over Brian Bolin, and it evaporated, but he was able to get back down on the loud pedal, stay out in front of Bolin and Eric Turner. Top 3 cars now have gotten away from John Sheets. Sheets another 2.5 seconds back. Corey, the one car that really has not been able to do much after those opening laps has been J.C. Morton as well as Tyler Kidwell. They are running back not quite middle of the pack, as they are running 5th and 6th right now, but they are well off the pace that your top 3 leaders are setting right now.
Well, how about Andy Bryant, Shane? Normally a top 3 car. He can't get around Terry Schultz right now. Bryant barely in the top 10, currently being scored in 9th position on the pylon, and he has finally gotten the 28 up around the top of the racetrack, but just hasn't been able to pick up any speed. Of course, now Chris Jackson, your race leader, starting to find the great equalizer. Quentin Taylor about to go a lap down, but only 1 lap to go.
Yeah, he gets around the lap traffic with 1 to go, and he has a long way to go before he gets to the next car of Sean Whitman. Chris Jackson has a second advantage over Brian Bolin. He can go error-free through turns 3 and 4. He will, and he'll see the checkers yet again here at Wheatland. 4th time a charm for KJ as he will find his way to victory lane.
Yeah, I can't really fathom it right now. I mean, these guys are all real hard to, real tough to beat, and 2 of the competitors starting in front of me are guys we work real tight with, and working on setups and stuff. And I don't know. I feel I got a knack for knowing how this place races, and I think that probably played in my favor a little bit tonight. But I really appreciate everybody on my car, and man, let's get Chrissy a kidney. If you guys can, go to my Facebook page and share that thing. It's a girl we graduated with. She means a lot to us. She's a super nice person, and she needs a kidney really bad. So if anybody can help, that would be awesome.
The Flash and the Capital Kid make up row number 1. 25 laps to determine the top spot tonight here in the ULMA Late Models. Fennewald fires out in front, and a ton of trouble back behind, including drivers like Cole Henson, Johnny Fennewald, and more. Fennewald puts his foot to the floor and will try this again. Tucker Cox tries to slide down to the inside and get around Fennewald, but he cannot do it as the Flash stays out in front. But the Moon Brothers Racing entry, driven by J.C. Morton up around the top of turn number 4, trying to cut down the difference between he and the race leader, just about a second behind Fennewald. You see Becker step out of line there in the 00 and then dive back in. As there's trouble back in the pack now as the 0X of Jason Civils gets turned around. And the caution lights will come on for in that big orange tire and say, giddy up. Green flag goes up and the hammer goes down. Fennewald flies through the middle of 1 and 2. Tucker Cox in tow, and how about Larry Ferris was involved in caution number 1. And what a difference 1 lap makes. He goes from 8th to 3rd as he slides up in front of the 7X of Todd McCoy.
Well, obviously no damage done on that opening lap incident. He is now hooked up. He's running in a podium finish as another spin over in turn 2 for Fields. Will he be able to get it fired up? No, he can't.
We've got 2 laps here in about the first 10 minutes in this one, a stark contrast to the last time we were here and the late models clicked off 20 green flag laps like it was nothing. See if we can go clean and green for a little bit here as Fennewald gets out in front, but the yellow right into the apex of 3 and 4 and flashes to the bottom of turn number 4 to get us restarted. The 3-time track champion fires down the backstretch with Tucker Cox behind him, Larry Ferris behind the 1T out of Jefferson City, Missouri, and Todd McCoy. The first 4 behind them, your midseason points champ and your defending track champion, the 31 of Cole the Hammer Henson. Had a chance to talk to Cole earlier tonight. Not sure if that interview made the light of day or not, and he has some trouble down in turn number 4, bounces off the bottom of the track and then comes back up, but is able to hold his line and hold his position as Hinson's currently scored in 5th.
Scored in 5th right now, but he's got a lot of making up to do if he's going to want to get at least up to a top 3. Speaking of top 3, it's a battle for 2nd and 3rd as now Ferris flies around Tucker Cox. He will grab 2nd spot, and then he will set the crosshairs on the back bumper of Johnny Fennewald. Haven't really seen the Fennewald-Ferris matchup yet this season. We really kind of thought with the way that Ferris came in and was just lighting it up whenever he first showed up after off for a first few weeks, he would be one of the guys that would run up front on a weekly basis. Just really hasn't happened yet consistently. He's been fast at times. He's been very average at times as he'll now try to get around the lap traffic of Bob Cummings.
Yep, he puts the Bob's Auto Shack entry a lap down after the race leader Johnny Fennewald passed him up. Fennewald enjoying a 1.4 second advantage over Ferris the last time around. Fennewald flashes underneath the flag stand. Mike Striegel showing the way for everybody. The Outlaw up in the stand again with us on Thursday Night Thunder, presented by Casey's. Our fireworks a little bit later, sponsored by KY3. Now all of a sudden, Fennewald firing on all cylinders, but Larry Ferris, Shane, a couple of tenths at a time, starts to keep creeping up. He's got 15 laps to change this 1.2 second advantage down to a raceable number.
It's about where you catch up with the lap traffic and where you try to make those passes. Whenever we saw Larry Ferris get around Bob Cummings, he had to go from his normal line on the front stretch, deviate from that just to get around the lap traffic. Now Fennewald, the opposite aspect of that, as he is trying to navigate around 2 different cars as Jay Fields will peel to the high side, and that will allow Johnny Fennewald to get out to a 2.5 lead.
That's about as much of an advantage over Ferris as he has had in the last 5 laps, as now Fennewald and Ferris ready to put the veteran Larry Jones a lap down in the 99. Fennewald around him. Ferris takes to the top of turn number 2, just not quite enough that time to clear the 99. Ferris flirting with the cushion as Fennewald finds himself mired in traffic. Mark Simon will give Fennewald the bottom of the track as the race leader continues to cruise here. 13 laps in, over halfway home in our 25 lap big feature of the night. Now trouble for the 66 as Coolhand will have to take a slow left turn to the inside. That is Caden Campbell out of Nevada. And the Boone's Barbecue Barn caution will come out so far. See if Ferris and Fennewald can break away again. Instead, it's Tucker Cox trying to jump the shark, get to the inside of that red and yellow 51. But then Ferris gets it up to full song and starts to pull away from the Capital Kid.
Yeah, it's pretty easy in that opening turn to be able to stay right with someone. Just the horsepower that Larry Ferris has, able to motor around on the outside. I think a difference between the 21 and the 51, I think 21, it's more car handling. The 51, it's more horsepower. I think Johnny Fennewald just points it in a direction, and Larry Ferris, for the most part, just lets it all hang out.
Larry Ferris with that Scott Bailey racing engine under the hood, powering his Capital chassis. Those chassis built by Shane Clanton. We saw Clanton have a great weekend here during the Show Me 100 just a few weeks back. Everybody's starting to get some personal space out on the racetrack now. Nobody right on top of one another, maybe with the exception of Dalton Emhoff and Joe Walkenhorst, as they're back in a battle for 7th. But right now, Johnny Fennewald outstretching his legs, cruising Main Street on a Thursday night, as he is up to a 1.6 second advantage over the 51 of Larry Ferris. Shane, we have chronicled over the last couple of weeks how much of the field Fennewald has been able to put a lap down. Tonight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 6 cars are on the lead lap with him. Everybody else is at least one lap down.
And that is with all of the cautions that we've had,
yes,
which makes it even more remarkable.
Yeah, normally that many cautions gives you that much of an opportunity to stay up with the race leader, but instead Johnny Fennewald just turned a 17.584 second lap as he continues to fly that 21 around the track, sponsored by Fennewald Construction, Tightline Whiskers, JF Seamless Guttering. The 820 of Jimmy Thomas gives Fennewald the top of the track with 5 laps to go. Fennewald's last lap, you brought it up during the B-Mod race, Shane, converting things over to speed. Almost 77 miles an hour that time for Johnny Fennewald as he continues to add to his advantage over Ferris as he is starting to check out. 2.7 seconds the difference now between the 21 and the 51. Ferris now a full 3 seconds behind your race leader as Johnny Fennewald, who has been dominant for the last month, appears to be in the same spot again here tonight. White flag now, says the Wheatland Outlaw. One more time around. $1,000 tonight in the 25-lap feature. And it will be 3 in a row for the Flash. Johnny Fennewald does it again.
Yeah, this, I didn't even know if we get to race tonight. We've had so much rain and everything, and they put on a heck of a racetrack here every week, and it is just phenomenal tonight.
Here tonight, off of turn 4, they get loud on the front stretch, green flag in the air, and we are underway as the B-Mods roar into turn 1. Matt Johnson on the inside of Dylan McCowan. McCowan way to the top side. Johnson will slide up in front of him, and a crossover by McCowan. Contact on the front stretch, but no one. Worse for the wear. They jockey positions up front. Now Johnson to the inside. He'll roar back past Dylan McCowan.
Wow, Johnson looked like he was shot out of a cannon off the bottom of the backstretch, and that 1X flies up in front. Now McCowan tries to slide around him again, but instead he'll now go to the top in turns 1 and 2. Fennewald falling back to third, and the man on the move is the one-time track champion here, the 87 out of Mayetta, Kansas. Here comes Darren Fuquay.
Fuquay started 6th. He's now up to 4th as he clears the 65 and the 89. He will look to the inside now of Johnny Fennewald as McCowan loses a good car length to Matt Johnson. Johnson stays low on the track. Fennewald will pinch down on Fuquay. That's a battle for third as 2 cars get up into the loose stuff. That is Tyler Hibner. He gets way high on the track. He'll lose some ground as he continues to run top shelf. Sliding up right beside him, the 65 of Tyler Davis. He started back in 4th, and he has dropped back all the way to 7th now. Now Chase Domer sideways in 4. He's facing the wrong direction. Backs into the big white tire down on the inside of turn number 4, and that brings out the Boone's Barbecue caution. 5 down, 15 to go. Johnson off of turn 4. Darren Fuquay in tow, 2 car lengths behind. They both go low on the track, and they are on their way to the backstretch, and Johnson out by 4 car lengths.
Johnson wheeling that 1X around. McCowan still trying to hold on to the second spot. Johnson had a ton of success running in the MLRA. He was the Rookie of the Year. Our boss tonight, Trenton Berry, says he is bad fast. I'll edit a little bit there. Right now, a man that we have seen get win after win here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks, Dylan McCowan, Johnny Fennewald, and the man from Mayetta, Kansas, make it 3 across on the exit of turn number 2. They're 3 across further back with Pursley and the 21. Look at that.
Now Ryan Middle on the inside, Dean Willie, the middle of that sandwich. Now it's a 4-car battle up front. The cars running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th have all caught up with Matt Johnson. Johnson stays low on the track. Dylan McCowan told us on Show Me 100 weekend it took him too long to get off the bottom of the track. He hasn't even attempted to go down there tonight. He has stayed up on the cushion all night long. He's got to run perfect laps. Now Fennewald, who was back and forth, he leapfrogs both of them, gets the second, but a spin in turn 4 as Johnny Fennewald in tow directly behind him. McCowan to the outside. Green back in the air again as they get past the orange cone. Everyone gets through turn 4 very cleanly, and we're back at it as a new player comes into the game. Tyler Davis, who started outside row 2, had dropped nearly outside the entire top 10, and now he's back in it with a top 5 run. He started to use that Dylan McCowan line up on the top side. He's gained some ground. Now he'll go back to the inside as D-Mac up on the top side tries to get another run to catch back up with Matt Johnson, but Johnson just way too much horsepower down on the bottom.
Matt Johnson wheeling and willing that 1X out in front and gets a great run off of turn number 4, almost a second advantage now as Darren Fuquay comes flying through the infield. He was running in the top 3, and the Dream Crusher will bring out the caution here. What
was making those runs over in Arizona? As McCowan in tow, not really getting too far out of formation in that first turn, and he's going to change his lineup. He recognized that running the top side was not completely the best move for him, as Johnson has stayed on the bottom all race long and really has had no real threat of getting passed by anyone back behind him. There is Davis now. He is rolled into a top 4 spot, working to the inside of Johnny Fennewald. And how about Mr. Consistency, Jason Pursley? Hadn't said his name all race long, with the exception of when you were going through the starting grid. Now he's up into the top 5.
And that is what he does week in and week out, Shane, as he just keeps that car absolutely pinned to the inside lane, always taking the shortest trip around this 3/8 of a mile semi-banked paperclip oval. And that has led to him getting around the number 1 points driver in the USRA as he has gotten around the 89. Right now holding down that 5th spot, but Hibner hauling the mail off the top of turn number 4 and trying to get around the principal.
With 5 to go, Matt Johnson still well out in front of Dylan McCowan. Another 5 car lengths back to Johnny Fennewald, who's getting some heat from Davis behind him. They're still side by side. Then it's Pursley and then Hibner. Hibner not completely out of the picture yet, back in 6th, but he's going to have to make some major moves if he's going to find a way to get around both Pursley and then find his way back up to the front. The points differential in the national standings, Tyler Hibner sits in first, 132 points ahead of Dylan Glass. Dylan McCowan, you might think, hey, he's running ahead of Tyler Hibner. He can really cut in to that point advantage. No, it's a 333 point edge right now that Tyler Hibner has over 3rd place running Dylan McCowan in the point standings. Spinner in turn 2 in 3 and 4. McCowan tries to get to the inside, not going to happen. Davis uses a different approach, goes way high on the track, and it's going to cost him as Jason Pursley dips to the inside. We've seen the green. This time around, it will be the white, and Johnson 3 car lengths out in front of McCowan. Then it's Fennewald. One more circuit. Can the senior from Skyline get around the number 1 one more time? A good run through turns 1 and 2. Johnson not really able to get away from the 8 that time. McCowan stays right with him, but Matt Johnson, he will come in a 2-time winner in 19. He'll grab his first feature win in 2 seasons here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks.
Yeah, I tell you what, I hated to see those yellows. We'd just get in a rhythm, and then I'd see the yellow flag come out like, oh, crap. I knew I could see the Jumbotron. I knew they were close to me, so just trying to hit my marks.
For 2 straight weeks. Can he be a 3-time winner at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks? The 12 has been hooked up and bad fast. That brand new race car when he brought it here just a couple of weeks ago, already out to a couple of car length advantage with the Buckhorn Bullet. David Hendricks at the bottom of the racetrack behind him. And that Gator Graphics entry of James McMillin trying his hand around the top of the racetrack to the outside of Hendricks. The 31 team, that Josh Crump sponsored rides for Psycho Ed Griggs and your two-time street stock champion, Toby Ott, right there. And now a little trouble for Scott Johnson as he gets squirrely in turn number 4. Shane brushes the orange cone and the tire back, but we stay green. Looks like that's going to be all for Novelty Missouri's Butch Bailey as the 111 exits stage right. And Scotty Allen and the Thunderstang seems to be different weeks, same story. 1.1 seconds the lead for Scotty right now.
Scotty so far has been perfect here at the Diamond and Dirt tracks. You know, Corey, used to back in the day, track promoters would put a bounty out on certain drivers that were dominant at their track. They would put up extra money if somebody could come in and beat a driver. Wouldn't it be funny if Danny put up a bounty on Scotty Allen?
I think they're too good of buddies to do that. I think Danny wants a chance to drive that car in Urbana here before too long. Scotty going to try and take that extra money that these two tracks partner on and put up tomorrow night, or maybe just saves him from paying it out if he races. I'm curious,
does that extra money go to the driver or go to the car? If it goes to the car, then yeah, I'm sure Danny would jump back in there.
Quite possibly. Good battle now for second between the Buckhorn Bullet, David Hendricks, and Warrensburg, Missouri's James McMillin. McMillin now comes off the top of the track down to the inside. He catfishes off of turn number 2, and he's got the preferred line underneath the Outlaw Josie Wales inspired 54. Hendricks hustling off the top of turn number 4, and he'll have the 8M by a nose, but all the while Scotty Allen stretching his legs, and he is already out to almost a 2-second advantage over Hendricks and McMillin. Then it's another monster gap back to the 541. Rob White Jr. all alone in 4th with the Crump-sponsored rides behind him.
You know, Scotty Allen made the comment that he was in the B-Mod and trying to sell, he has the Allen chassis, trying to sell B-Mods. He now has enough B-Mod drivers that can hold their own, a J.C. Morton and Eric Turner, a J.C. Newell, that entire group, Robbie Ewing. He doesn't have to sell B-Mods anymore because they sell it for him as Toby Ott slides in, and that means too.
I don't know if car owner Jay Prevett would do that or not. They're pretty tight. Hendricks pretty tight on the back of the 12 of Scotty Allen, but that Allen Auto Sparts USRA stock car has been good, and it is again as it gets away clean on the restart. Scott Johnson almost comes in contact with one of those tractor tires, has to get off the gas and falls all the way to the back of the pack. McMillin now to the top of turn number 4, and he is alone in second place as he tries to check alongside and see if he's got anything for the Thunderstang. 3 cars now battling for third with David Hendricks out in front of Ed Griggs and Rob White. Driver from Lebanon, Missouri, bounces off the bottom of the racetrack and has to slide up behind the 54.
Not many drivers go to the top side here at Lucas Oil Speedway in this stock car division. The one guy that's not afraid to is James McMillin, and the last lap looked like it was going to be good for him. Now he's starting to get a little too high. He's searching for that tackiness up top, and where he had it about a lap or two ago, he's now starting to search for it again. He lost it, and he is losing some ground to Scotty Allen.
Well, he's found his way up to second place all alone, but he's running out of time and laps. 8 laps the difference here, but another Boone's Barbecue Barn caught on and hammer down. Here we go again. Allen and McMillin. McMillin better make a move now, because once Scotty Allen gets back up to speed, he gets out in front and doesn't give you very many chances. 33 years in racing for Allen, and right now he rolls off of turn number 4 and already has a couple of car lengths advantage over the driver of the 8M, James McMillin. Psycho trying to throw his hat into the ring now. Took the inside line, but falls back in line behind the 8M. He'll take the same line around the track as Allen. Your race leader rolls it off of turn number 4, and this time McMillin shaves a tenth or two off of that lead as he goes back up to the track, and you can see where the track is darkened up around the top of turn number 2, Shane.
And I'm telling you, if McMillin doesn't jump the cushion, if he stays with pretty steady lines, he is able to gain ground on Scotty Allen. It's just those slight errors that cost him time. This looks like it might be a pretty good lap for the 8.
He was 0.2 of a second behind Allen a lap ago, 1.5 seconds behind the Thunder Stang in the last lap. We'll see where they are here, as this time McMillin motors across the top of turn number 4, and they are neck and neck. Allen coming up off the bottom of the racetrack a little bit. McMillin continuing his assault around the cushion. McMillin now, Shane, just has to do what we talk about so many times, but it isn't easy to do. You got to hit your marks. There can't be a single bobble, a single mistake when you're talking about tenths of a second, the difference between he and the race leader.
And in all reality, in 3 races now, that is one thing Scotty Allen hasn't done. He has not made a mistake. He hasn't budged off the bottom of the racetrack, and he has ran perfect laps.
He's got to run 2 more perfect laps, or McMillin may move him. The 8M stalking the 2-time winner here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. David Hendricks sitting back in 3rd, and the white flag comes out. One more time around. Can McMillin make the move, or will it be a three-peat for Allen?
Oh, that's the best turn 2 he's had.
Oh, absolutely. McMillin drives it into the high side one more time. They will fire off of turn number 4, the checkered flag in hand. McMillin makes a move around him at the end and gets him. 0.048 of a second, the difference.
You can't have much more fun than that racing right there.
Man, you and Scotty definitely put on a show. He kept looking like you had him. He kept getting within inches of him, but he kept pulling away. Take us through those last few laps.
Well, I knew the bottom would start going away there, and the top was pretty good. So I stuck with it. I was inching up. I'd make a mistake. He'd make a mistake. It was going back and forth, but luckily he made the last one down there in 3 and 4.